All right, well, welcome to class 1B. We are getting started in a little bit more of the hands-on mind stuff when it comes to our four components of being great consultants, knowledge and building some skills that are going to help with systems, with that body part that we were talking about last time of just creating some good systems. Money management is crucial, so crucial. If you know that you're making money, you just feel better and you see the purpose of your business. And obviously it's more than just making money, but that's a really important piece. And so I want to make sure that from the very beginning you have the pieces in hand to do well with tracking it and just knowing where those dollars are going and knowing that you're investing them in the right places that are going to be beneficial to you and for your husband and your family. You may not be very driven by that, but for husbands to be supportive, to, miss you here and there when you're gone or help out with the kids a little extra, like it's really important for them to get to see a return. And so that is my heart. And I want to say right now that as you embark on your Mary Kay journey, if you at any point feel like, I'm not sure that this is that financially things are going quite right, please ask. Please reach out to me. I want to make sure you feel like you're being blessed financially. And, again, it's not that that's the bottom line, selling, pushing, not that, but benefiting from your service to women. So be sure to keep me posted on that. And so last week we talked about writing up a sales slip and how to process those papers. So now that you've had sales from that sales slip, now that you actually had papers to work with, what do you do with the money? Where does it go? And so if you can grab the money management document, let me pull mine up here. Money management document. Let's take a look. The front side, that's for you. That's wordy. It's a resource. That's great. Flip it over to the back side, please. And we're going to draw a chart. So if you can just flip to the back side of the money management sheet and draw a line down the center so you have two columns. We're going to do two different columns, and this is going to represent two bank accounts that you'll use to run your Mary Kay business. I will say this, it's possible to run your business on one account, but it takes a lot more paper trail, a lot more careful tracking. So I'm going to teach you how to run your business on two bank accounts so you can see the back and forth of it. If at some point you do it in one bank account, just know that you have to have record of the exact same things that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. It still has to be separate, and you're still going to need to split your money the way that I teach you. So like I said, for me, early in my business, it was a lot easier to just have two accounts. That way I knew this money was for this and this money was for this. And I didn't have to do a lot of work. That's not my strength. I'm not a professional organizer, and I don't want to be. And so I preferred as simple as possible. So on that page, on the left-hand column at the top, put profit. On the right-hand column, put inventory. So when you have two bank accounts for your Mary Kay business, first off, they can be free. They can be personal checking accounts. You do not have to have business accounts because you are just working for yourself. So it is totally legal and legit to get personal bank accounts. So in those two accounts, let's start on the right side, the inventory column. Now, our profit margin is 50%. We have an incredible profit that we get to take from every sale. But because we want to set you up to be a powerful and successful business owner, we actually teach you to split your money 60-40. If you put 60% into your business and 40% into profit, that's going to cover expenses and shipping, samples, things that you really want and need for your business, but you don't want to be taking from your personal bank account to buy. So on the inventory column at the top there, underneath where it says inventory, just write 60%. You want to put 60% of every sale in the inventory account. And what this account is for is, first of all, ordering your products. So that would be the 50% there. It's going to cover the products that you need. So if you have inventory on hand, that means that you're going to, as you sell the mascara, $7.50 goes into that account to reorder it so you can maintain your inventory. If you started with inventory on hand, that's the point, is that you always have it. So you're never having to scramble to get products or hurry up and order and have people waiting. It's just there. So when you sell the product, you move that 50% to inventory, and now boom, you're ready to reorder that mascara and put it back on your shelf for the next customer. The other 10% would be, as I mentioned, sales aids, so samples, facial cloths, sales slips, delivery bags, just those little things that you buy from Mary Kay that are very helpful. Those things are going to be that 10%, as well as shipping and like the preferred customer program when we send out our catalogs each quarter. So those items you will all pay for out of the inventory account. And that's 60% of the money. So for that account, really all you need is a debit card. And you don't even have to carry the debit card, because you only use that card when you place an order for Mary Kay. So you're going to use that card to order things for Mary Kay, and that's it. Let's go to the profit side. The profit side is where 40% of that money is going to go. And I want to state this now. It's very crucial that every dollar you sell, and like checks, cash that you receive from customers, that you deposit it straight into your bank account for Mary Kay. Don't put that money in your personal account. Don't spend it. Like, it needs to go into your Mary Kay bank account, and then we're going to talk about how to spend it. You do get to spend, but it really has to funnel through your Mary Kay account first. That's for tax purposes. That is for legal protection and making sure that you're doing things all legit. So what you're going to do is, of course, put 40% of the money in the profit side, and what that account is going to be for is, number one, any extra expenses that you need for your business that Mary Kay doesn't sell. So stamps, if you buy pens to kind of have matching cute ones, or headbands, there's not a lot of expense here. It should be very, very low, but you may need 10, 20 bucks for those kind of things. For an event that you go to, that money would be coming out of the profit account. To go to an event, to buy lunch, at seminar, something like that, that's going to be out of the profit account. Then everything else you're going to transfer out of your profit account and put into your family. You're going to put it into your family. So you may pay yourself back for your inventory investment. You may save for a vacation. You may take your family out to dinner. Whatever it is, transfer that money out of your profit account into your personal accounts and do with it as you wish. And I will say, if you are looking at paying yourself back from an inventory investment, I want to encourage you to just set up a plan where if I pay this much each month, I can have that paid in full by such and such date, and go ahead and make that payment back to your savings, or pay the credit card. But then if you have extra that month, I do want to encourage you to do, even if it's something small, something for your family, or something for yourself, or for your hubby. It's important to see a return from your business, to see a blessing in your family's life even before your inventory is completely paid off. I'm with you on, I want that kind of stuff gone as fast as possible. I don't like having a bill or a payment. So make that payment for sure, even double it or triple it, but also take some dollars from that and do something for your family as well, so that they're being blessed as you are taking these first few months with your business. So that profit side is going to be for those things, and it's just important that you don't make personal purchases out of this account. You're going to move the money into your personal banking and then do with it as you like. So that account, you do need a debit card, and it can be handy to have checks. I find that I occasionally do need to write one for different reasons, so checks can be a really nice asset to you on that profit account. So here's how the money flows. You have your party. You collect checks and cash from all the ladies, and you come home. So let's say you have $200 that you now have in your hands. What you want to do is deposit all of that money into your profit account. Just deposit the $200 into there, and then online if you wish, or you can do this with a teller. I'm an online girl, so I do online banking. But however you want to, right after you make that deposit, you're just going to calculate 60% of that $200, and you're going to move it into the inventory account. So I think that would be around $120. So you take $120 of that and move it into your inventory account. Now your inventory is ready to order the products that you didn't have, to restock the things that you sold from your shelf, and to cover any other samples or supplies that you need. So that money is set. You know exactly how much you have to put towards your order. Then what's left, that $80 in your profit account, for example, you're going to, maybe leave $10 in there for some random things, and then move the $70 to yourself. And that is your pay. That's how you pay yourself. So you can transfer, or you can write a check. You can get the cash out and wave it at your hubby and say, look what I did. But remember, it's really important that you pay attention to that $70. Don't just let it get swallowed up in your business. Make a choice of what you're going to do with that. You may at times need to grow your inventory, and you may choose to put a little extra from your profit into an order. That's okay. That's perfectly fine, especially if you didn't start with a very big inventory. You may need that at times. It may make it easier for you to grow your business, but you get to decide. That is your profit. And so no matter what you do with it, do not ever feel like it's not yours. That is your money. You are choosing where you put it, and you can claim that as your profit no matter what you do with that money. So that's how you're going to manage that. Now, let me see here. Okay, so a couple resources that can be helpful for you are doing credit card transactions. We are a swipe it world, right? And most Mary Kay consultants I'm finding are using credit cards, or accepting credit cards or debit cards. It just opens up a lot of options for people. So there are two things that I recommend for credit cards. First off, ProPay is a program that Mary Kay has partnered with. It's not our company, but it's a company that accepts credit cards, and they give us a really great rate to be able to accept them. And if you have a Mary Kay personal website, in order to take transactions on that site, you have to have a ProPay account. And so that links up, and it allows your website to go live to take transactions. So there's a one-time fee for ProPay. It's $39.98, something like that. I should say one time a year that you pay. And then there's a small fee for each transaction, but way less than any other that I've found as far as a transaction fee. And so ProPay is wonderful. And then something else that I think is very nice to have is Square. Square is a card reader that is free to get. There's no cost for it, and there's just a small percentage for each transaction. But what you get is a card reader that you can put in your phone, so you can swipe people's cards at the party. That's convenient, and it's also safe to do. So I would recommend get a Square, use it in person with people. When you're swiping their card and running a transaction, go for it. And then ProPay is great for your personal website, and if you need to do a transaction over the computer, ProPay is really nice for that. So both of those resources I find are really helpful for being able to take credit cards. So then the way that's going to work is with Square. When you charge a card, that money goes right into your profit account. You just link it to your profit account. And so say you charge someone $75, it goes into your profit account, and then you just have to take 60% of that and move it to the inventory account. So again, you have to be very vigilant to work with those transactions. With ProPay, that functions as like a holding tank. So when you charge someone on ProPay, that money stays in your ProPay account. And then when you decide, you transfer it into your profit, and then you split 60% and move it to inventory. and then the 40% stays in the profit. So anytime, the way this is going to work is you deposit your sales into profit, you move 60% to inventory. So that way you're always running a tight ship financially. And so what you'll find is the inventory account is very fluid. When you are fully stocked on your shelf, your inventory account has like nothing in it. As you sell off your shelf, your inventory account money is growing, and then you place a reorder, you drain the account, and you stock your shelf. And so it's very fluid. That's how the inventory account works. It's only to purchase things from Mary Kay. So that account is, filling up or it's drained. The profit account is going to pretty much stay low. You're going to put money in, and then you're going to transfer money to your family. You're going to deposit money in and transfer money to your family. You shouldn't have $200, $300 in that account unless, of course, you're saving for a special event, something that's coming up that you want to have extra money for. So make sure that account, you're quickly transitioning that money to your family and knowing and keeping track of how much that is. And every single month we track, how much did you profit? I'm going to be asking, how much did you profit? What was your profit this month? What did you do with it? That's crucial for you, but it's also crucial for our team. We are inspired by the stories of each other, of what we get to do with our money, and that's so, so important. So please keep track of that and max out the income that you are earning so it can bless your family as much as possible. So that's how the bank accounts work. That's how the money goes in, where it goes, that kind of a thing. But now I want to take it even more detailed to how do you actually manage those expenses? How do you keep track of the expenses that are coming in and going out to make sure all of this is organized and that you do have money for the things that you need to have it for? That is my favorite way of doing this is through an app called YNAB. YNAB, you need a budget. And I love using this app. It works on PCs and Macs. It also works phone, iPad, and computer. So you can have your accounts available to you wherever you are, and you can share them. So my husband and I both have our accounts on our phone, or we can input transactions as we have them. So grab the YNAB document, and I want to go through this with you. And this is detailed. So I'm going to do my best to make this simple and to help this make sense. If you have any trouble, if you have any challenge with understanding, don't hesitate to contact myself or your director to just say, okay, walk me through or explain. This isn't the only way to do it, but this is just what I personally do and what's worked for me. So if you grab that document, it says this is a great app for money management, budgeting, and awareness. Step 1 with this app is to enter your bank transactions into the ledger. You can do it on your smartphone or your computer. So this is just a picture of what the ledger looks like. When you set up YNAB, you set up that account. So I have a Chase checking account that's there. And then as I have transactions, you just enter in what was it. And so you'll see in the picture, it says Mary Kay direct deposit. So that was income. And it's $250, sorry, it's really small. $250 came into my business. And then I spent money for the preferred customer program. So that was an outgo. For career conference registration, that was outgo. So it just literally lets you put your transactions that are in and out from your bank account on a ledger in one place. So when you transfer that money into your inventory account, you can account for it. Say, okay, I put $42 in there, I put $82 in there, and then when you order, I had a $200 order that I made to Mary Kay. So it's just literally just tracking your transactions. And then as you'll see underneath the picture, it says you can download them from your bank account online to reconcile that account. Very easy to do. I'm not going to go into that now. If you need assistance on that, let me know. But every single week I sit down and I download my transactions and I match them up with my YNAB, so I make sure my ledger is matching. Okay. So that's the basics. If you start there, that's a great start. It's just income, outgo, income, outgo. You can have those things there. So step 2 is going to be tracking your income and expenses. And this is where you can utilize the budget section of this app. And so I have a picture here as well of what a budget category would look like. So if you look in the very center of that picture, well, first off, look on the far left of the picture. You'll see where budget is highlighted, and then underneath that it says reports. Underneath that it says all accounts, and then it goes on down. So I have selected the budget on the far left, and then the next over shows you the categories for the budget. And these are the categories you could potentially have. And I just combine them all in one list for you. As far as income that you can be earning, it could be commission, it could be sales. As you earn commission for team members, that's going to be income. And then as you have sales, that's going to be income. So those two categories are your income categories. Then expenses would be your gas, car repairs. That is something that you can eventually take as a tax deduction. It's not initially required, but as you consistently have money, you can, for the car that you drive for Mary Kay, you can use that for tax deductions. You can buy your gas and you can pay for repairs and oil changes and all of that out of your Mary Kay money. So again, a lot of people don't start with that, but it can become one of your Mary Kay business expenses. Food, that would be for meetings, trainings, events. Postage, advertising, that's like for sending out catalogs, anything where you're spending money to get your name out there, to touch base with your customers. Office supplies, that would be, stamps, or, well, I guess that would go under postage, but thank you cards, pens, things for an office, stuff that you need just to kind of run your business. Meeting fees, if you do go to a weekly meeting, the door fee for that, or an event. Inventory, of course, would be an expense as you place your orders. Your cell phone, again, that one a lot of people don't start with, but as you build your business a little bit, you can pay your cell phone bill out of that Mary Kay account and use that Mary Kay money for it, and that's very handy. Internet, same thing, can be paid for out of your Mary Kay business because it's an expense that your business is utilizing, even though I think we all have internet either way and cell phones. It's a business expense now, so you can transition those bills to your Mary Kay account. And then events, special events, travel, hotel, gas, that would be an expense. So as you see, a lot of these build over time. You're not going to have massive expenses in all of these quadrants, but I just wanted to go ahead and give them to you so that if you go ahead and set up YNAB, you can see these are the categories that I would need to assign to my transactions. And so back up at step 1, you'll notice if you look at step 1, that picture, for each transaction there's a date, there's a payee, so like Walmart, and then there's a category, and that's where your categories come in, is with those things that we just talked about. So if you went to the U.S. Post Office on Monday and you spent $32, that category would be postage. And that way you can see, okay, that was an expense for postage, and you can see how much are you actually spending in each category on a weekly, monthly, or yearly basis. And that leads me to step 3. As you do this for a while, and as you build and grow your business, I'm sorry, something is okay, sorry. And as you grow your business, you will eventually be able to literally set up a budget. You'll be able to predict on a monthly basis how much you actually have spent on postage, how much you're actually spending on advertising, the quarterly things that we do. So it's really, really nice. As you get months in, you can see exactly how much money it takes to run your business. And you can anticipate that, set that money aside, and know that the rest of that money is yours and it's for your family. and you'll know exactly how much money you get to transfer to your family. So I love YNAB. It has made my life a lot simpler. I will be honest, I was not good with my money management in my business early on. I was just all over, like in, out, and I couldn't tell you where it was going except to my business and then here and there to my family, and that's just not fair. It's not a good service, and you lose money. You really, really do. And so I want to recommend, start now. Download the YNAB app and just start inputting transactions. If you start there, you can grow from there and build with that. So as you look at that YNAB document, you can kind of go through that and follow it and work with that. Okay, so let me check my notes here. Okay, the last thing we're going to go over for tonight is the Mary Kay Consultants worksheet, and it's talking about taxes. And that's something that I mentioned earlier, tracking your money with these bank accounts that are separate from your personal, and then using YNAB to assign a category to each thing that you spend money on and to track when you move money to your family is not only good for you to know and can keep you out of stress mode, but it's also legally what you need to do. The government wants to know how much money you brought into your business, how much money people gave you, and they also want to know how much you put into your family. And so before you worry, these tax deductions and the things we're going to talk about are an asset to you. Until you're becoming a director or earning a free car, you're not going to owe money to the government for your business. You're going to have so many deductions from your life and things that you've never been able to deduct before that it's going to outweigh any income you earn at first. Like I said, until you get to that car or director level. So this is wonderful. You want to track your taxes. You want to report them. They help you out. So if you can grab that document, grab the Mary Kay Consultant worksheet. Accounting Unlimited is a great company that helps women with their Mary Kay taxes. They work with hundreds, probably thousands of Mary Kay consultants. So it's a great company that can be a resource. You don't have to go through them, but they are the company I choose to use, and they've made a lot of these resources available to us. So you can go to Accounting Unlimited's website and find these documents and worksheets and resources to help you. So if you look at this sheet, the first top half is a list of just tab of all the different tax deductions that you can take. So basically, you want to keep the receipts for any of these expenses on this top half of the sheet. And again, these should be being paid out of your Mary Kay profit or inventory accounts. That's legally what should be happening, is these expenses that we're going to look at should be coming out of your Mary Kay accounts. That's the right balance that you need to have. And so what I choose to do is scan my receipts into the computer and just save them. That way I don't have to have a bunch of folders or paperwork. You may want to just get a file folder for each category and throw your receipts in it. That's fine too, whatever you like. If you want to just keep the receipts and throw them in a folder for each category, or if you want to scan them in and save them on the computer, whatever works for your brain. Or if you have a hubby who's kind of like that, whatever works for his brain. But I want to show you a couple that you can actually condense down. So one category that you want to have that will take 4 of these tabs is called packing slips. When you get your boxes from Mary Kay, you get a packing slip that comes that tells how much you ordered, how much it's worth, how much you paid in shipping and sales tax and all that. So when those boxes come, grab all the slips and put them together if you have multiple boxes and staple it. And that sheet right there, that packing slip, is going to cover the third line down that says Section 1 purchases. On this document, the third line where it says Section 1 purchases, that's covered in the packing slip. And then if you go about halfway where it says sales tax paid, that is covered in the packing slip. And then if you go to the bottom of that top section, freight expense and section 2. Freight expense and section 2, those are also in the packing slip. So you don't need 4 folders for those 4 things. Just have one that says packing slips and put them in there. And you'll have your numbers for all of that. So that's something you can condense down with the Mary Kay information. And then other than that, as you look through, you want to keep track of any advertising expenses, interest on a loan or a credit card. You may not have insurance on your Mary Kay product yet, and that's okay. If so, just skip it. There may be a few things that you don't have, but these are the different expenses that you can keep receipts for. And then underneath that is 2 other really, really important deductions that you want to keep track of. Your home and your car. They are the biggest deductions you're going to have, because early on in your business, you're not spending tons of money on all those other things, but you already have a vehicle and you have expenses for it. You already have a home and you have expenses for it. Those things are all partially deductible for your business now, which is where you get lots of money back when you file your taxes. So vehicle expenses, let's talk about that. Every mile you drive for Mary Kay is like 50 to 60 cents coming back in your pocket. So it's really important to keep track of your miles. In the orientation packet, it talks about jotting down your odometer reading on your car. If you haven't done that yet, make sure you go do that. But that's why you need the starting miles for when you began your Mary Kay business this year. And then you're going to keep track of any driving you did for Mary Kay, just the date, the purpose, and the total number of miles you drove. So anytime you do something for Mary Kay, you need the date, the purpose, and the number of miles you drove. If you keep track of that, then at the end of the year, we'll remind you to take your closing miles. And you'll be able to see, okay, out of the 5,000 miles that I drove this year, 1,000 of them were for Mary Kay. Those 1,000 miles are a tax deduction and very important. Now, a couple clarifications. If you are going to work, say you're going to your job and you are also going to make a Mary Kay delivery, what you need to do on the way to work, you can't count that as a tax deduction because you're driving to work to get paid. But make sure you do your delivery after work. And when you clock out and you put your work day down, the drive from your job to your delivery and then home would be a tax deduction, because now you're not getting paid anymore. So you can, put on your Mary Kay hat. Now, if you're doing something like going to church or getting together with friends and you're doing a delivery in that, or taking something with you for someone, that whole trip can be a tax deduction because you're going for Mary Kay. And that's a part of it, and you're not being paid by anyone else. If you go to the grocery store, as long as you purchase things for Mary Kay separate, so you have a separate receipt for those things from your Mary Kay money, you can count that as a tax deduction. So keep those miles. Don't miss out on precious miles. You can throw a little notebook in your car, or I prefer to use the Mileage IQ app. It's an app that you can download onto your phone, and it's free up to a certain amount. Early on, I'm sure you would be fine. I do pay, I think, $5 a month now, and it tracks everywhere I go all the time, and I can assign if it's a business trip. And so it gives me how many miles I drove. It gives me all of that information. I just need my starting and ending mileage on my car. And then it tells me you drove such and such amount of miles for your Mary Kay. And I love that. That's really, really nice. So I prefer the app because it helps me be foolproof. If you're disciplined and you'll write it down in your notebook, then go for it. A notebook is great. Now, besides the miles, you'll see also there you can keep track of lease payments, gas, oil, repairs, interest on a loan, your tags, your insurance, any of those expenses for the car that you are driving, you can keep. I find most people have a car that they drive, like your main car? If so, really try to keep your Mary Kay stuff to that vehicle. If you're in a situation where you really have to switch back and forth and you have to use different cars at different times, you'll just need to keep records for both cars separately. And you can turn in for both, but you'll just need separate records for those two vehicles. All right. Last is for your home. You are paying a rent or mortgage, most likely. You're paying utilities. You're paying real estate tax and mortgage interest and a lot of different things. And so those things are now part of your tax deductions. And so when the year end comes, you'll learn how to measure the space of your home that you're using for your business and take a portion of all of those utilities that can be written off, which is very, very cool. But for now, just keep your bills. As you pay your bills for all of these things, just hold on to them. And then the tax accountants can help you to take the right amounts off of those. They do all the calculations. You just need your numbers. So you'll need to see, okay, we paid this much total for gas this year, this much total for electricity, this much total for water, and a portion of that based on the size of your home and how much of it is Mary Kay usage for an office, for product storage, things like that is all going to be written off. And so it's wonderful. I just can't say that enough. It is wonderful. You can be so grateful to have all of these tax deductions available to you now to help you when tax time comes to get more money back. More money back. That's what we want. So you need to keep your receipts and you need to save them somewhere. And then I highly recommend that those receipts also are being entered into the YNAB app so that at the end of the year, rather than having to add up every single receipt, you've already been tallying them on that app and you can just hit a button and it'll say, you spent this much in postage. You spent this much in your cell phone. It is wonderful and simple. So let's see. Is there anything I have forgotten? You know what? I think just my last encouragement to you would be, it takes time to get all of this set up in the beginning. And sometimes, depending on how your brain works, it even feels a little overwhelming to think about your money management and how am I going to do this? And, how does it work? Number one, don't hesitate to reach out to myself for help with questions. Also, if you have a person in your life who's good at this stuff, let them come in, let them help, let them partner with you. This stuff is not the core of Mary Kay. This is the systems that will help you to function well so that you have a strong body component of your business, and there's skills and knowledge that you have to build to grow that mind component. But as you get that strong, that can be in the background. That runs itself, and you get to be with people and love on them and have fun and be excellent and build relationships, and that is the forefront. But you cannot stand on quicksand. So take the time, get this figured out, get it in place, set up your systems for how you're going to run it, and then have fun and go enjoy yourself and know how much money you're making and be able to share that with me and with our Mary Kay sisters. So have a great evening. Don't forget to complete the voucher for this class before we get back together next week so you can get your points, and I will see you next Wednesday.